Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. If you've been playing the competitive ranked mode for Overwatch, and after finishing your placement matches were unhappy with the skill rating the game gave you, believing that you deserved a higher skill rating, something that happens a lot of times in different competitive games, whether it's StarCraft or Dota, players always believe that they, quote, deserve a higher skill rating than they actually get. Well, in this case, for Overwatch, you're actually right, because there was a bug in the game. The bug specifically affected the three King of the Hill maps, Ilios, Nepal, and Lijiang Tower. And the problem was that when you won these maps in your placement matches, it would give you the minimal amount of increase or skill rating reward for winning that match. And if you lost, it took away the maximum amount of points. And this was regardless of whether or not your team was favored or not, how back and forth it was. Like, every other factor was pretty much thrown out. If you lost the King of the Hill map, then you had a huge amount of points taken away. And if you won, you only got a very small increase. So this basically made the King of the Hill maps really, really bad during your placement matches. If you manage to go through all 10 of your placement matches and not get a single King of the Hill map, then that means your skill rating is pretty much right where it should be. Now, if you only had one or two King of the Hill maps during your placement, you probably lost a skill point or two. If you had a lot of King of the Hill maps during your placement, then you pretty much got screwed over. Especially if you lost those matches. If you won them, you didn't quite get as much of a boost as you would have if it was a payload map or an assault map, but if you lost those King of the Hill matches, then you definitely took a pretty big hit. Probably as many as 10 or more points. Now, when people were playing Season 1 placement, and they noticed that they were getting much lower skill ratings than they had previously gotten on the public test realm competitive season, they kind of started wondering what was going on. And soon enough, it was discovered that even after the placement matches, the King of the Hill maps were giving these bad numbers. Again, if you won, you got the smallest improvement possible, and if you lost almost an entire skill rating. A whole level was just gone. And because this bug carried over past the placement matches, it meant that gaining skill rating and losing skill rating were completely unbalanced. And people were dreading getting the King of the Hill maps because they knew that if they won, they would get almost nothing, but if they lost, they would lose almost an entire level. Whereas the payload maps and the assault maps were all balanced, where if you won and lost, it was a fair, appropriate amount based on the skill rating average of both teams. Now, of course, anytime someone brings up a point about the skill rating system not being fair, it's met with a lot of skepticism. And this is something that Scott Mercer, a Blizzard employee, said on their official forums. There are legitimate reasons for the magnitude of skill rating change to vary on a match-per-match basis, but we did get the feedback, so we're investigating to see if there's a consistent bias or simply an error on control maps. Ilios, Nepal, Lijiang Tower. If we can identify it, we'll then work to address it quickly. This was then followed up by Jeff Kaplan, another Blizzard employee, who said, "Last night, we uncovered a bug that is causing skill rating to not be adjusted properly in our control maps. This bug is a top priority right now, and we're hoping to have a fix ASAP." And a few hours ago, another Blizzard employee posted an update on the situation saying, quote, "Last week, several players reported that wins and losses on control maps during competitive play were not correctly influencing skill ratings. The exact problem causing this to happen was identified early this morning, and we were able to develop a fix shortly after. That fix has now been implemented on PC and Xbox One in all gameplay regions, and will be in place when competitive play goes live on PlayStation 4. Our sincere apologies for any inconvenience, but thank you so much for your reports and helping us make Overwatch a better game." So the good news is, the bug has been fixed. So from here forward, if you have to do placement matches on control maps, or if you just have control maps in your regular season, you'll get the correct amount of points either given to you or taken away. But the bad news is that if you already did your placement matches, you're pretty much just out of luck. Blizzard is not going to make any changes or let players redo their placement matches in order to get a more accurate score. So, if, like me, you ended up having a lot of the control maps in your placement, you're pretty much just screwed and you have to wait until the next season. That's pretty much what Blizzard is doing with everything that goes wrong with Season 1. Basically, Blizzard is treating Season 1 of the competitive rank mode as the public test Part 2. So there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with the competitive mode right now. Sudden death, the control maps, lots of other stuff. And Blizzard is kind of like, well, we'll fix it in the next season. So, if you did your placement matches or you ended up losing a lot of rank because you played a whole bunch of King of the Hill maps one after another, you're pretty much just out of luck. Better luck next season. But thankfully, Season 1 is a much shorter season than it normally would be, so Season 2 will be here real fast. Anyways, that is going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. Remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.